here, welcome to DSSG Nation. So if this is your first time watching the video from DSSG Nation, do make sure to subscribe and click the bell button so we can notify you when I create a new video. So today we are going to be talking about the description of a long bone. So pick your paper and your pen and let's get started. Hi guys. Yeah, welcome back. Now, talking about the description of a long bone. Description of a long bone. So, to describe a long bone, all you have to do is just to bring the diagram. And once you understand the diagram, you'll be able to describe it easily. So, let's start. So, a long bone, just assume this shape. Now, this is what a long bone looks like. And if you notice this diagram very well, you realize that we have two expanded ends. Two what? Two expanded ends. One at the upper side, upper, and the other at the lower side. And then we have an elongated mid part. So an elongated what? An elongated mid part. Now, this upper part and this lower side, they are the same in structure. They assume the same structure. So we are going to describe it now. So we call this one the upper. So this upper extended part is called the upper epiphysis. Upper epiphysis. And the lower side is called the lower epiphysis. Now, to describe each of these epiphyses, what you are going to put in your head is just the sequence at which a structure covers the other. What do I mean by that? Just go and look at you are going to have something at the outer part. And that outer part is going to be covering another thing in the inner part. And then that inner part is going to be housing something. It's going to be containing something. So this is what you have to put in your head. Now, the upper epiphysis, it is displaced by what? By a type of cartilage called articular cartilage. Articular cartilage. It's a kind of hyaline cartilage, a kind of cartilage found in joints, mostly in joints. And now it covers this upper extended end. And now this upper extended end is made up of a bone tissue called the compact bone tissue. Compact bone tissue, which is what? Smooth and hard. If you don't understand the meaning of compact bone tissue, just check out our previous video, which talks about the introduction to the skeletal system part 1. Now, after that, you are going to bring in the what? The inner spongy bone tissue. So this compact now is the outer. So the inner is the spongy right here. The spongy bone tissue. The spongy bone tissue. So you label this as what? Spongy bone tissue. Spongy bone tissue. So this spongy bone tissue, it is mesh-like in structure, or it's a net-like. So, this structure inside this is called the trabeculae. We talked about this in our previous video. And now, within this trabeculae, we have blood cells, bone marrow inside it. Bone marrow. Bone marrow. So, for these extended ends, the type of bone marrow that is there is the red bone marrow. The red what? The red bone marrow. And the function of red bone marrow is production of blood cells. Production of what? Production of blood cells. So that is just the description of both the upper epiphysis and the lower epiphysis. So that's going to say it is covered by articular cartilage. And then the upper extended end is made up of two bone tissues. The first one is the compact bone tissue on its outer part. And it is strong, smooth, and dense. So, and it houses the inner what? The inner spongy bone tissue. And the inner spongy bone tissue is made up of trabeculae. And within the trabeculae, we have what? We have red bone marrow, which is responsible for the production of what? Of blood cells. As simple as that. So we are going to repeat the same diagram for this place too. So same labeling as well. So now to this elongated middle part. So this part is called diaphysis. Okay, let's do it this way. Diaphysis. Diaphysis. You also call it the shaft. And now, this shaft, I said the number of sequence we use to describe the long bone is just the outer part, the inner part, and what the inner part is housing. So here, it is surrounded, the bone is surrounded by what? It's surrounded by a tough vascular membrane called periosteum. Periosteum. So let's rub this off. So periosteum. Periosteum. So the word peri, so if you say peri in anatomy, it means around or surround. So the word osteo means bone. So periosteum is that tough vascular membrane that surrounds the bone. So it is called the periosteum. So it surrounds the bone except at the articulating point here, where it is displaced by an articular cartilage. So all these parts has what? Periosteum. One. Now, the diaphysis, it houses a structure called the medullary canal. Medullary what? Medullary canal. Or you can call it the medullary cavity. As simple as that. And now, this medullary canal, it contains yellow bone marrow. It contains what? It contains the yellow bone marrow. Yellow bone marrow. And the function of the yellow bone marrow is to store fats and some other things like vitamins. So, the function of the bone marrow is to do what? Is to store fat. Now, a quick recap for the description of long bone. We said the long bone has three parts, two expanded ends and one elongated middle part. And we said the two expanded ends are called the upper and lower epiphysis. And now we said it is covered by an articular cartilage, and then the bone is majorly made up of what? Two types of bone tissues. The compact bone tissue, which is smooth, hard, and dense. And it houses the inner spongy bone tissue. And then within the spongy bone tissue, we have what? We have a net-like structure or mesh-like structure called the what? The trabeculae. And we said the trabeculae possesses pulse, which houses what? Bone marrow, red bone marrow to be precise. And the function of red bone marrow is production of blood cells. But for this medullary canal, it's covered by what? Periosteum. And then, sorry, for the diaphysis, rather, the elongated middle part is what? It's covered by periosteum, another part of the bone, except at the articulating point, where it is displaced by an articular cartilage. And within this diaphysis is the medullary canal. So the medullary canal, the function is to do what? Is, okay, the medullary canal contains the yellow bone marrow. And the function of the yellow bone marrow is to store fat, as simple as that. Now, another thing is that between this epiphysis and the diaphysis, we have a place here called the metaphysis. It can also be called the epiphyseal cartilage or epiphyseal plate, depending on its level of development. So, this is called the what? Epiphyseal cartilage. Epiphyseal plate is what you use because it's a developed long bone already. Now, what is this epiphyseal plate all about? This epiphyseal plate, it starts as what? As an epiphyseal cartilage. And it is the only mitotically active part of the bone. What is the meaning of that? I said it is the only mitotically active. That word mitotically is from the word mitosis. Mito what? Mitosis. And mitosis deal with duplication of cells. Just like cells giving birth to two or more cells. So, in mitosis, it is strictly two. So, if I say this epiphyseal cartilage is the only mitotically active part of the bone, it means it is the only part of the bone that can reproduce. And then, it is where the development of long bones occurs. It is where the bone grows up in length and sideways. So, it grows upward, downward, and sideways at this very point. So, and when the growth of bone is complete, this epiphyseal cartilage is now going to turn into what we call epiphyseal plate. And that is why you can also call it metaphysis. Metaphysis. So, as simple as that. And that, okay, that's not the end. So, one more thing, we have arterial supply and venous journey to what? To the bone. So, and that is through the periosteal artery and periosteal vein. I'm going to be coming in the next slide and then I'm going to be explaining that. So, a quick recap for this. He said, description of long bone. Bone has three parts: the upper epiphysis, lower epiphysis, and the diaphysis. So we said the epiphysis, they are the what? Expanded ends. And then the diaphysis is the elongated middle part. So we said the epiphyses are covered by what? Articular cartilage. And then they are made up of two bone tissues. The compact bone tissue, which is what? The smooth and dense part, and the inner spongy. So, and the inner spongy is made up of trabeculae. And trabeculae possesses pus, so which contains what? Red bone marrows, and that is responsible for the production of what? Of red blood cells. So coming out to the diaphysis, we said the diaphysis is the elongated middle part, also called the what? The shaft. And after that, I said it is covered by what? Periosteum, which covers what? Different part of the bone, except at the articulating point, where it is displaced by an articular cartilage. And after that, we said within these diaphysis is the medullary canal or medullary cavity, which possesses the yellow bone marrow. And the function of the yellow bone marrow is to store what? Is to store fat. And now I said between each epiphysis and the diaphysis is a what? Is an epiphyseal cartilage, which is the only mitotically active part of the bone, which means it is the part of the bone that undergoes development. It is where the bone grows upward, downward, and sideways. So, and we said when the development of bone completes, it becomes epiphyseal plate, or you can also call it metaphysis. As simple as that. Now, let's clean the board and let's come in with another diagram. Just the same diagram, but the board will be less stuffy as this. Just strictly on the labelings and just a finishing touch. And then we call this video an end. Hi guys. Yeah, welcome back. Now, just the diagram of a long bone. So you start diagramming the expanded ends. So now we know that this part is the what? The upper epiphysis, upper epiphysis, upper epiphysis, and this side is the what? The lower epiphysis. And this side is what? The diaphysis. So those are the three parts of a bone, of a long bone rather. Now, we said the epiphysis is covered by an articular cartilage, which is formed by what? Iron, which is a family of iron. So articular cartilage, mostly found in joints. So articular cartilage. And now we said this bone beneath it is the what? Is the compact bone, which is smooth and what? And dense. So inside it we have the what? We have the spongy bone tissue. The spongy bone tissue. We said it is neck-like in structure or mesh-like. So the spongy bone tissue. The spongy bone tissue. So we say same thing. So we said same thing rather goes to the other side, which is the lower epiphysis. So articular cartilage, compact bone tissue, and then spongy bone tissue. The spongy can also be called cancellous. So spongy bone tissue. And now this is our diaphysis, also called the what? The shaft. So we said periosteum covers the bone, surrounds it, except at the what? At the articular cartilage, the expanded ends rather. Sorry, periosteum. So we said at the diaphysis, it houses the medullary cavity or medullary canal. So medullary cavity or medullary canal. And then we said inside it we have the bone marrow. So that's the label with the bone marrows. And now we said between each end we have what? We have the epiphyseal plate. Epiphyseal plate. So we said the arterial supply to bone is through the periosteal artery. So you can just do like this. One, and then another one, two. So you can call this the periosteal artery. Periosteal artery. And this will be the periosteal vein. Periosteal vein. And this is a complete diagram for the development of long bone. So a quick recap now. But let me just give you a kind of cheat. For the upper epiphysis and lower epiphysis, always put this trend in mind. Articular cartilage, articular cartilage, then the compact bone tissue, then the inner spongy bone tissue, and from there to what? Trabeculae, and from trabeculae, as per us, red bone marrow, yeah, red bone marrow, and then production of what? Production of blood cells, So once you memorize this, you will be able to describe the upper epiphysis and lower epiphysis. This means the upper epiphysis is covered by the articular cartilage, and then it is made up of compact bone tissue under it. And the compact bone tissue surrounds what? The spongy bone tissue, outside each other. And then the spongy bone tissue is made up of trabeculae, and trabeculae possesses pus, which contains red bone marrow. And red bone marrow is responsible for the production of blood cells, as simple as that. And for the diaphysis, it's very simple. You can start by saying periosteum, then your arrow pointed forward, the diaphysis itself. After diaphysis, medullary canal, and after that, yellow bone marrow, and after that, storage of fat. Storage of what? Of fat. So this means periosteum covers the diaphysis, and diaphysis houses the medullary canal. And within the medullary canal, we have the yellow bone marrow, and the function of the yellow bone marrow is storage of fat. Simple as that. Then the epiphyseal cartilage is done towards the epiphyseal plate when the development of long bone is complete. So that is the end of this video, and I thank you to do enjoy the video. So if you do make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if this is your first time watching the video from the destination, do make sure to subscribe and click the bell button so we can notify you whenever we create. Bye guys.